Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I will show you how to create a friendship bracelet with diamonds. So I will take these pieces of yarn. They are about 70 centimeters long. That is about 28 inches long. And I will begin by making the loop. So I will grab the yarns like this and I will create an overhand knot. And I will create the loop like this. Like this, I have created the loop and I will grab the yarns and I will order my yarns according to their colors. I will put two darker yarns on the outside, on the left and on the right, and I'll put the green yarns on the inside. So I have the blue yarns on the outside and the green yarns on the inside here. And let's start making the knots. I will begin with these two yarns and I will start by making backward knots here. One backward knot and the second. Like this. I will take these two yarns and I will make forward knots. So one forward knot and the second forward knot. And this way I have created two blue dots on the sides. And now let's start by creating the diamonds. So I have these two green yarns and I will make the first diamond. So I will create two backward knots, one and the second, and we have begun the diamond, making the diamond. I will make the second knot a backward knot, one, two, this way, I will make forward knots here, one, and the second forward knot, two, and I have moved my green yarns forward. Now with the two blue yarns I will make a backward knot, one and two. Now I will make again 2 backward knots, 1 and the second, and here I will make 2 forward knots, 1 and the second forward knot, and now I'm going to make here forward knots, 1 forward knot and backward knots, sorry, and the second backward knot, here I am also going to make 2 backward knots, 1 and the second, and now I am going to take the green cords and I am going to make 2 forward knots, 1 and the second forward knot, here I am going to make 2 backward knots, 1 and the second, so always be attentive at the order of your yarns, of your colors, because the order of your colors is very important. Now I have these knots here, I will make 2 backward knots on these blue yarns here, 1 and the second backward knot, and now I'm going to make forward knots here, 1, 2, backward knots on these 2 yarns, 1 and the second. And now the green yarns are in the middle, and I will make backward knots, one and the second, and now with the blue yarns I will make backward knots on this side, one and the second, I will make with these two yarns forward knots, one forward knot and the second forward knot, and I will continue making those diamonds. By making the same knots. And after I reach the length of the bracelet that I want, I will show you how to create the tie. And now that I have finished the bracelet, I will start creating the ties. So I have these cords here, and I will start braiding them. Now I will braid the second cord, now I will make a knot at the end of the braiding. I will take the second braiding, I will also make a knot. Now I have made a knot at the end of my cords, and I will take the scissors and cut. This way. And now let's see the finished bracelet, and in order to close the bracelet I will put the tie through the loop. I'll make a knot and my bracelet is ready. And this is what the finished bracelet looks like, the bracelet with diamonds. I will show you how to create a friendship bracelet with the pattern of the boa constrictor skin. So for that I will use brown and green, and I will use 2 green yarns on one side and 2 on the other, so a total of 4 green yarns and 2 brown yarns. So as you can see, the brown yarns are a bit longer, so I added about 15 to 20 centimeters to my yarns, and the length of my yarns from this point to this point is about 70 centimeters. That is about 28 inches long. So I will begin with the loop. So the loop should be from this point to this point. So this should be the length of my loop. I will grab the ends of my loop and I will start twisting the yarn on the portion that I want to turn into a loop. This way. And now I will fold in two the portion that I want to turn into a loop, and as you can see, the two parts of the loop have swirled one around the other. And now I will make a knot at the bases of my loop. This way. Now I will grab the loop with the clamp, the yarns with the clamp, and I will order the yarns according to their color. So I'll put the green yarns on the outside and the brown yarns here in the middle. And I will begin by making forward knots with the brown yarns. In order to make a forward knot, I will create the shape of the number 4 like this. I'll put my finger under the yarn, the first yarn, and I'll take the other yarn out through the loop here, and I will make the first forward knot. Again, I will make another forward knot, so I'll put my finger under this yarn, grab with my nail the other yarn, take it out through this loop, like this. And I have created the first knot, so a forward knot here in the middle. And now I will make a forward and a backward knot on this side of my yarns. So I will make the shape of the number 4 for the forward knot. I put my finger under this yarn, grab the other yarn like this, take it out through the loop, and I make the first forward knot, and then I make a backward knot. So the backward knot is the number 4 but in the mirror, and I will put my finger under this yarn, grab with my nail the other yarn, and take it out through this loop. And I have created the backward knot. And now on this other side I will make a backward knot, so the 4 in the mirror, I will take the yarn through the loop here and make the backward knot, and then I will make a forward knot. So I create the shape of the number 4, I put my finger under this yarn, grab the other yarn like this, take it out through the loop and tighten this knot. This way. So I have 3 knots. I have 2 green knots on the side and a black knot in the middle here. And now I will make, with the brown yarn on the green yarn, I will make 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, and on the second yarn again 1 backward knot and the second backward knot, like this. So at the moment my brown yarn is on the outside and the green yarns are on the inside. And now with this brown yarn I will make 1 forward knot and the second forward knot on the first green yarn, and now my brown yarn has moved forward from here to here, and now I will make another pair of forward knots, 1 forward knot and the second forward knot, and now the brown yarn has moved from here forward on the outside here, and now as you can see my green yarns are on the inside. Now I will take the green yarns in the middle and I will make 2 forward knots. So 1 forward knot and the second forward knot. So 2 forward knots. Now I will make a backward knot, 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, on the left side, and on the right side I will make 1 forward knot and the second forward knot, this way. Now I will take the brown yarn and I will make a forward knot and a backward knot on this side, and I will keep the brown yarn on the outside. I will take the right brown yarn and I will make a backward knot and a forward knot. This way. Now I will make 1 forward knot and another forward knot, and I have created the first chevron. So as you can see I have the first chevron here, so I have 1 knot here in the middle and the first chevron. As you can see it looks like a little diamond. but this is the chevron that I've created. And now I will create the second chevron. I will create one forward knot, the second forward knot, one backward knot, and the second backward knot, so I have created backward knots on here. I have created 2 forward knots, on this other side 2 backward knots, and here in the middle I'll make 2 forward knots. So I will make 1 forward knot and the second. This way. And now I will take again the brown yarn and I will make 1 forward knot and 1 backward knot. On this other side I will make 1 backward knot and 1 forward knot, and then I will make 2 forward knots on this cord, 1 forward knot and the second, two backward knots, 1 and the second on this cord on the right. And here in the middle I will make 1 forward knot and the second forward knot, this way. And now, as you can see, I have created 3 chevrons, so 1, 2 and 3 chevrons. And now I will take the brown yarns and make 1 forward knot, another forward knot, so this time I will make 2 forward knots, and I will also make 2 forward knots on the second green yarn, so 1 forward knot and the second forward knot. And I brought the brown yarn into the middle here, so I brought it from this place here by making forward knots. And now I will also bring this brown yarn here in the middle by making backward knots. So when I make a backward knot it moves here, when I make a forward knot it moves here on the edge, so it will remain on the edge if I make backward and forward knots on this side. Or if I work on this side, it has to be a forward and a backward knot to keep the yarn on the outside as a border. But here we want to bring this yarn here in the middle, so by making backward knots, so the number 4 in the mirror, I will bring the yarn back until it gets here. So 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, on the first yarn, 1 backward knot the second backward knot on the second yarn, like this. And now I brought both brown yarns into the middle, and I will make one forward knot and the second forward knot, like this. And with the green yarns on this side I will make a backward knot and a forward knot, and I maintain the green yarns on the outside, and here on the other side I make a backward knot and a forward knot, and I also maintain the green yarns on the outside. And now from now on, as you can see, let's see from a closer distance. And now, as you can see, the colors that we are using are creating, so the brown color is creating a contour here. So we have here two borders, and here we have a chevron, and here we have an inverted chevron up here. And here we have two dots, two green dots. And in the middle we have these 1, 2, 3 chevrons. We also have a dotlet, a little knot here, a dot here. So this is the first part of the boa constrictor design. So this is what the boa constrictor looks like on the back. So if you are looking from above, this is what the boa constrictor looks like. This is what the design on the boa constrictor looks like. So this is our first part of the design, and from now on I will make the inverted chevron with these yarns, following the exact steps that I have described so far, and will make more portions such as this one until I will reach the desired length of the bracelet, and then I will show you how to create the tie and close the bracelet. So let's continue making those shapes, following the exact steps that I have shown you so far. And now that I have reached the end of the boa constrictor pattern bracelet, I will create the bracelet tie. I have separated the yarns like this, and I will start braiding in order to create the first tie. And after I finish braiding this tie, I will make a knot at the end of the tie. And now let's make the knot. And now I will braid the other yarns. And now I will also make a knot here. Like this. Now I will cut the end of the cords like this, and let's see the finished bracelet. So this is what the finished bracelet looks like with the boa constrictor pattern. So it looks like the pattern on the back of a boa constrictor. And now, in order to open the loop, I will simply open the twisted part here, I'll put one of those ties through the loop like this. And here I will make a knot. And this is my boa constrictor pattern bracelet. This is what the finished bracelet looks like. So this is the finished bracelet with the pattern of the boa constrictor back. Using these two cords, I will use orange, neon orange and neon blue. In order to make this cord, I will make a series of knots. So I have cut two bits of cord of about 75 centimeters, and I will make a knot on these cords at the point where I want the bracelet to begin. Like this. So this is the point where the bracelet will start. So I will grab the cords with the clamp and I will stretch these two cords. And I will start making the knots. So I will make this number 4 like this. So as you can see, the blue and the orange cords form a number 4. And with my index finger, I will grab the blue cord and put it through this loop. And I have made the first knot, like this. And now I will make a reversed 4 like this. So as you can see, the 4 is in the mirror, and I will also take the cord through the loop like that. So I have created the first two knots. And again, I will put the two cords like this, and I create the next knot. Again, I create the number 4 like this and take the cord out through this loop this way and make another knot. And now I will make the number 4 in the mirror like this. And with the index finger I will take the cord out through this loop. And I have made the next knot. And I will continue making those knots by making this shape in the number 4 with the two cords that I am using. And once I will use the orange cord and once I will use the blue cord to make the knots. And as you can see, the knots are made in the mirror. So we already have a couple of knots created. Let's see from a closer distance what it looks like. And I will continue creating these knots until the bracelet is finished, and then I will make the closure of the bracelet. And now I will continue making a few more knots, and then I will close the bracelet. And now I will make just a few more knots and I will close the bracelet. This way, and I will make a knot here at the end of the bracelet. I will make a simple overhand knot. Like this. And now let's look at the bracelet. So the bracelet has a knot at both ends here. And now we have these cords over here. I will take these cords like this, and I will make a knot at the end of these cords. This way. I will also cut a bit of the end of the cords like this, so that they look better. This way. So I have made a knot here, and I will also stretch these cords and make a knot at about the same distance here. So the two cords must be equal as length. Like this. I will also tighten this knot and cut the end of the cord. Like this. And let's see what the finished bracelet looks like. So I will just grab these two cords and create a knot. Like this. And this is the finished friendship bracelet. I will show you how to create a twisted bracelet using these two cords. So our little friend is trying to tell us something. Now that our little mascot Rudolph said hello, let's continue with our bracelet. So I have these two cords And I will grab the two cords like this, and I will start twisting the two cords. Yes, Rudolph, what do you want now? Do you want to play? He always wants to play in the morning. He has a lot of energy after sleeping at night. And he doesn't want to play alone, so he wants us to play with him. So I will twist this bracelet like this. So I will keep twisting the bracelet, the cords, the two cords. And I'll continue twisting until the cords are under tension, and I will fold the two cords like this, and I'll let go, and you will see that the two cords will twist one around the other like this. So as you can see here, the cords have twisted one around the other, creating this pattern in two colors. Now I will remove the clamp, and here I will make a knot. A simple overhand knot. Like this. We have the bracelet like this, and in order to open and to close the bracelet, I will open this end here, and I get this loop, and I will put the bracelet through this loop like this, and this is how I close my bracelet. And to make the end of the bracelet more aesthetic, I'll just cut off the ends of the cord. So this is my twisted bracelet. This is how it closes here, and this is what it looks like. I will show you how to make a friendship bracelet with fish decoration, and I will use these yarns. So I will use two blue yarns and a red yarn. The length of the blue yarns is about 70 centimeters, that is about 28 inches, and I will add to that about 15 or 20 centimeters for the red yarn. So generally the red yarns should be a bit longer. And now let's start by making the bracelet loop. So the loop should be should last from here to here. About this distance should be the length of the loop, and I will start making the loop by twisting the yarns precisely on this distance where I want to make the loop. So I will twist those yarns and then I will superpose them, and you will see that the yarns will twist around one another. And now at the basis of the loop I will make a knot, a simple overhand knot, this way, and we can start making the bracelet. Now I have separated the yarns and I will start by making some chevrons. So I will make a forward knot, so I will make the number, I'll create the number 4 with those yarns. I'll put my finger under this yarn and grab the other yarn, take it out through the loop like this, and I make the first forward knot. Then I will make another number 4 and take the yarn out through the loop, and I've made the second forward knot. Again I will make a forward knot on the red yarn, one forward knot, and a second forward knot. And to create the chevron from this other side, I will make one backward knot, that is 4 in the mirror, and the second backward knot. So the 4 in the mirror, I will put my finger under this yarn, take the other yarn out through this loop, and I will tighten this knot. Again I will make 2 backward knots, one backward knot and a second backward knot, and I brought the blue yarns into the middle here. I will make the chevron, the tip of the chevron, by making 2 forward knots. So here in the middle you can make any type of knots. You can make 2 forward knots, 2 backward knots, a forward and a backward knot, or you can make a backward and a forward knot. So I have created the first blue chevron. Now let's continue by making the second blue chevron. So I will make a forward knot, a second forward knot on the red yarn, a forward knot and a second forward knot on the blue yarn. Now I brought this yarn, the blue yarn, from the margin into the middle, and now I will take the other yarn and I will make backward knots. One backward knot, the second backward knot, the second backward knot, like this. Now I have the 2 blue yarns in the middle and I will make 1 forward knot and the second forward knot, and I created 2 chevrons. And now let's also create a red chevron. So let's see from a bit of a distance. So 1 forward knot, the second forward knot, 1 forward knot, the second forward knot, one backward knot, the second backward knot, and one backward knot and the second backward knot. And now in the middle I will make one forward knot and the second forward knot. And now with these two yarns I will make a forward knot and a backward knot. And I have created a blue dot here on the margin. And here on this side I will make one backward knot and the second backward knot. And now I will take the red yarn and I will make one backward knot, the second backward knot, in order to create an inverted chevron. So I made two backward knots, and I will take the next yarn and I will make one backward knot and the second backward knot. Like this. So we have created a part of the inverted chevron. So I will make here one forward knot, the second forward knot, one forward knot and the second forward knot. And now here in the middle I will make one forward knot and another forward knot, like this. So I have created a dot, and now here I will create one forward knot and another forward knot. With these two yarns I will create one backward knot and another backward knot, and here in the middle I will create two forward knots, one and the second forward knot, this way. So I have created a little diamond. And now in order to start making the fish, I will take the red yarn and I will create a chevron. So I will make one forward knot and the second forward knot. I'll bring the yarn here. On the second blue yarn, one forward knot and the second forward knot, with the other red yarn I will make one backward knot, the second backward knot, one backward knot, the second backward knot, this way. And here one forward knot and the second forward knot. and I have created the first fish pattern. And now let's continue by doing the same steps, repeating the same steps as before. So I will make one blue chevron, one forward knot, the second forward knot to create the first blue chevron. Again, one forward knot, the second forward knot, and with the other yarn, one backward knot, the second backward knot, one backward knot, the second backward knot, this way. And again I will make another, like here. Here I have two blue chevrons, and here I will make a second blue chevron, and then I will create another fish like this. So let's continue making the second chevron, then the fish, and again two blue chevrons, again the fish, and so on. And once I have obtained the desired length of a bracelet, the bracelet goes around my wrist, then I will stop and I will show you how to create the bracelet tie. So let's continue making the blue chevrons and the red fish decorations. And now that I have finished the bracelet, I will start making the tie. To make the tie, I will take the 3 of the yarns, twist them, I'll take the other yarns, also twist them. As you can see, I'm twisting towards this in the same direction, towards the left. So each separate group of yarns has been twisted in the same direction to the left. And I will twist until I feel that there is tension in the yarn. And now I will take the 2 twisted yarns, so both have been twisted in the same direction to the left. And now, in order to twist them one around the other, I will twist them to the opposite direction, to the right. And you will see how they twist one around the other. And now that I have finished twisting, I will make a knot at the end of the tie, this way, and I will cut the yarns. And our bracelet is ready now. So this is the finished bracelet. In order to close the bracelet, I will open the tie like this, the twisted part. I'll put the tie through this loop here. So I have opened the twisted loop. I put the tie through the loop. As you can see, it's twisted back. And I can close the bracelet like this. So this is the finished bracelet. And this is what the bracelet looks like on the wrist. I will show you how to make a fishtail friendship bracelet. For the bracelet I will use these cords. As you can see, I have 2 blue cords, 2 black cords and 2 brown cords. I will begin by measuring a bit of this cord and then making a knot. And then with a clamp I will grab these cords and I will order the cords in the mirror. So I will put the black cords outside, I will put the blue cords next to the black cords and the brown cords in the middle. Now I will start braiding. For the fishtail friendship bracelet I will bring the outer cords in the middle like this, until I get to the end of the bracelet. So let's begin with the outer 2 cords with the black cords like this. So I have crossed them and put them in the middle. Now I take the second cord, the blue cord. I will bring the blue cord like this in the middle and the other blue cord again in the middle like this. So as you can see here from a closer distance, I have brought the 2 cords that were on the outside in the middle, and here I have created the fishtail aspect of the bracelet. And now let's repeat these steps with the brown cord, which is now on the outside, and let's bring it inside of the bracelet like this. So as you can see, the aspect of fishtail has already appeared. And again, let's repeat those steps. So we'll put the black cord outside, then the blue cord, and then the brown cord. And again, I will take the black cord and put it in the middle. I will take the other black cord and put it in the middle like this. And then I take the blue cord, put it in the middle, and the other blue cord I'll put it again in the middle. And again, I take the brown cord from the edge and put it in the middle. Like this. So as you can see, the fishtail aspect of the cord is already visible. And let's continue braiding this way using these rules until the bracelet is finished, and then I will show you how to make the closure of the bracelet. And now the bracelet is almost ready. I will make one or two more knots. Like this. And now at this point here I will make another knot, like this. Now I have a knot at this end and another knot at this end. And now let's cut the cord so that we have a cord that is equally long. So let's put the knots next to each other and let's cut the cord. This way. And now I have these two cord ends and I will attach the bracelet to my arm, to my wrist. So I will make a knot like this, and this is what the fishtail friendship bracelet looks like. To show you how to make a leaf bracelet. So as you can see, the design of my bracelet looks like little leaves or petals, because in my opinions, because they are so colorful, they could also be compared to petals. And I'll show you a step how to create the loop, how to create the leaf structure, and also how to make the tie of the bracelet. So if we open the loop like this, and if I put a tie through this loop, I can close the bracelet, and this is what the bracelet looks like. So as you can see, it is a very colorful bracelet, one that you can wear in the summer at the beach. So let's begin learning how to make such a bracelet. I will use these rainbow colors. So I will use yellow, pink, green, red and orange. And let's begin by creating the loop. So I will fold the yarns in two, and the middle of the yarns will be here. So here is where we are going to make the loop. The length from this point to this point here is about 70 centimeters, that is about 28 inches. And in order to create the loop, I will grab the two ends of my loop like this, and I will start twisting those yarns. And then I'll superpose the two ends of my yarns, and I'll obtain this shape. So the yarns will twist around one another, and this will be our loop. And at the basis of this loop I will make an overhand knot this way, and now I have created the loop of the bracelet. And now I will grab the yarns with the clamp, and I will order the yarns. Now I have ordered the yarns, and I will begin by making 2 forward knots with the green yarns in the middle. So let's talk about the forward knots. In order to create a forward knot, I will create the number 4 like this. So this looks like the number 4. Then I will put my finger under this cord and grab the other cord and take the other cord through the loop here. And I will close this knot this way. So I've created the first forward knot, and now I will create the second forward knot like this. And I created the first knot of our bracelet. Now I will take the red yarn, and I will make a forward knot and the second forward knot. And as you can see, I have brought the red yarn into the middle. I will take the other red yarn and make a backward knot. In order to make a backward knot, I will make the number 4 in the mirror like this, so the inverted number 4. I will put my finger under the green cord, grab with my nail the red cord, take it out through this loop and create the first backward knot. And let's make another backward knot like this. So I made 2 backward knots on the green yarn, and I have brought the red yarns into the middle. And now I will make 1 forward knot and a second forward knot. Now I will take the next yarn, the pink yarn, and I will make 1 forward knot and the second forward knot on this side on the green yarn. Then I will make 1 forward knot and the second forward knot on the red yarn. I have brought the pink yarn into the middle here, and I will take the other pink yarn and also bring it here by making backward knots. So 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, and 1 backward knot, and the second backward knot. And now I brought the pink yarns into the middle here, and I'll make 1 forward knot and the second. Now I will take the orange cord. I'll make one forward knot, the second forward knot, one forward knot, the second forward knot, one forward knot, the second forward knot. I've brought the orange cord into the middle. I take the other orange cord and I'll make one backward knot, the second backward knot, on the red cord, one backward knot, the second backward knot, and on the pink cord, one backward knot and a second backward knot. And I also brought the orange cord into the middle, and I will make one forward knot and a second forward knot, this way. And let's do the same thing with the last yarn, with the yellow yarn. One forward knot, the second forward knot, 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 this way. I brought the yellow yarn into the middle, and now I will make backward knots with the other yellow yarn. One backward knot, the second backward knot, on the red yarn, one forward knot, one backward knot, sorry, one backward knot, the second backward knot, on the red yarn. I'll take the pink yarn, one backward knot, the second backward knot. So as you can see, it is very important to be attentive at the order of your yarns, because if they get mixed up, the entire design will get mixed up. And two backward knots on the orange cord. Now the yellow cords are in the middle, and I will make two forward knots on the orange cords, one and two. And we have created the leaf pattern. So if you're asking me personally, I consider that it looks more like a pattern of petal rather than a leaf, but it is called the leaf pattern. So this is the first leaf, and then we shall continue by making the leaf but with the colors in the inverted order. So let's see now how we create the next leaf or petal. So I take the orange yarn and make one forward knot and a second forward knot. I bring the orange yarn in the middle. From the other side I take the orange yarn and I make one backward knot and a second backward knot. So I follow the same steps, only that this time the colors are in the inverted order. Here in the middle I will take the orange yarns and make 2 forward knots. So one forward knot, the second forward knot, now I will take the pink yarn and create forward knots, 1 and 2 forward knots. So as you can see here there is already a distance between this knot and this knot. So as you can see, this bit of orange yarn has no knots, of pink yarn has no knots. The yellow and the next pink knots are situated at a distance. And 2 pink knots on the orange yarn. And now I'll make backward knots on this other side, so 1, 2 backward knots. One backward knot and 2 backward knots. And 1 forward knot and the second forward knot. And now I'll take the red yarn and make 1 forward knot and the second forward knot. And again, as you can see, the distance between the yellow and the red knots is a bigger distance, so this bit of yellow cord has no knots on it. Two forward knots on the orange cord, one and 2 knots. Now backward knots on the right side, so 1 and 2 backward knots. One and 2 backward knots. One and 2 backward knots. And I'll make 2 forward knots in the middle, 1 forward knot and the second forward knot, like this. And let's take the last yarn, the green yarn, and I will make 1 forward knot and the second. As you can see, the distance between the yellow and the green knot is even bigger, and we have this bit of yarn here that stretches in between the yellow and the red yarn without any knots. Let's go to the orange yarn and make 1 and 2 forward knots. The pink yarn, 1 and 2 forward knots, and 1 and 2 forward knots. And on the right side I take the green yarn and make 1 backward knot, and a second, one and 2 backward knots, one and 2 backward knots, one and 2 backward knots, and in the middle 2 forward knots, 1 and 2 forward knots. So as you can see, I have created the first 2 leaves, and I will continue making leaves using the same rules, the same steps, until I obtain the desired length of the bracelet. And then I will show you how to create the bracelet tie. And now that I have finished the bracelet, I will start making the tie of the bracelet. And for that I will braid the bracelet. So I will move the green yarn from the left side to the right side, to the inside, so from the outside to the inside here. I'll take the right green yarn from the right side, from the outside, put it on the inside, on the left side like this, and cross the 2 yarns like this. Now I will take the red yarn and cross it with the other red yarn, the pink yarn, the orange yarn, the yellow yarn, and so on. So as you can see, I have crossed the yarns from the margin here in the middle. And I'll continue braiding until I finish the tie, and then I will make a knot. And now I will make a knot. I will use this yarn and I will create a loop. So I'll put this yarn around my braiding, around the fishtail braiding, and I will make a knot like this. Now I will grab the scissors cut and let's see the finished bracelet. So in order to close the bracelet, I will put the tie through the loop like this, and this is the finished bracelet. So this is what the bracelet looks like. I will show you how to create a vertical wave friendship bracelet, and for this bracelet I will need some yarns for the basis of the bracelet. On these yarns I will be making the knots, and they are about 18 inches long, that is about 46 centimeters. So from this point to this point my yarns are about 18 inches, that is 46 centimeters long. And to that I will also add these yarns with which I will create the decoration, and the total length of these yarns is about 100 centimeters, that is about 40 inches long. And now, in order to start making the bracelet, I will grab those yarns and I will create the tie of the bracelet. So let's see how long the tie should be. So I will make the tie at about this point here, and I will make a simple overhand knot at the point where I will begin my tie. This way. And now I will separate. Now the long cords have been put on the sides like this, whereas these cords on which I will start braiding will be put here. And now let's start creating the design. I will take the black yarn and I will start making forward knots on my bracelet basis yarns. So I will make the shape of the number 4. Let's see from a closer distance. Like this. I will put my finger under the white yarn and take out the black yarn like this. and I will make the first knot. Then I will make another forward knot like this, and I have created the second knot. I will put this yarn away and I will take the second yarn so I will take this second yarn and I will make forward knots again on this second yarn. So I create the shape of the number 4, I put my finger under the blue cord, grab the black cord, take the black cord out through this loop here, and I create the first knot, and again I make the number 4 like this, take the yarn out, and I create the second knot. I take the next yarn, I create the first forward knot and the second forward knot. Now I have 3 more yarns here. So I have these 3 more yarns here on which I make the knots. I will take the 4th yarn and I create the shape of the number 4 like this to create the forward knot. I grab the black yarn, take it out through this loop and make 1 knot. Again I make the number 4 like this and I create another knot. Again, I create the shape of the number 4. Again, I create the shape of the number 4. Again, I make the forward knot, so I create the shape of the number 4. I grab the black yarn, put it through the loop, make a forward knot, and then I make another forward knot. And I have brought my black yarn from this point, it moved forward and I brought the black yarn to this point. And here, as you can see from a closer distance, I have created a black line. So I will push those knots so that they are forming a straight line. So I have created the first line, black line of my design. Now I have these 6 cords here. And I will move the black yarn back here by creating backward knots. So all these knots here have been forward knots. And by means of creating forward knots, I moved my yarn forward. Yarn by yarn, I moved my black yarn forward until it got to this place here. And now I will make another line of knots, but with backward knots. So the backward knots will push my yarn backward and it will get back here. So I will take each of these 6 yarns and on those yarns I will create backward knots. So the backward knot looks like the number 4 but in the mirror. Again I will put my finger under the white yarn, grab the black yarn with my nail and take it out through this loop like this to create the backward knot. So I make 1 backward knot, then I make the second backward knot on the first yarn like this. I put my first yarn away, I take the second yarn, I make 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, I take the third yarn, I make 1 backward knot, a second backward knot, I take the fourth yarn, I make one backward knot, the second backward knot, I take the fifth yarn, I make one backward knot and the second backward knot, and now the last yarn, one backward knot and a second backward knot. And now I brought my black yarn back, and here, as you can see, I have created two black lines. So I will push the knots backwards so that they form a straight line. And now I will create another line, but this time with my other yarn, with the blue and white yarn. So because this yarn is here, it wants to go back this way, so I will create backward knots on the first row, and then when I bring the yarn back to this position, from this position to this position, I will create forward knots. So I will take the first yarn and make one backward knot, the second, let's see from a distance, the second backward knot, so I put the first yarn away, I take the second yarn, I make one backward knot, the second backward knot, I put the second yarn away, I will make again one backward knot, the second backward knot, I take the next yarn, one backward knot, the second backward knot, and one backward knot, and the second backward knot, one backward knot, and the second backward knot. And now I have created a blue line as you can see here, the blue wave. And I will go back with those knots, but this time I will create forward knots. So as you can see, I have brought my yarn from this point here, from this position on the right side, I brought it on the left side. And now to bring my yarn back from the left side to the right side, I will make forward knots. So I'll make one forward knot, the second forward knot, I'll take the next yarn, I'll make one forward knot, the second forward knot, I'll take the next yarn, I'll make one forward knot, the second forward knot, the next yarn, I'll make one forward knot, the second forward knot, the next yarn, one forward knot, the second forward knot, and the last yarn, one forward knot, and the last forward knot. So I have created a second row of knots. This time they are blue. So I made a line of black, I made a line of blue. Now I will put my blue yarn away, blue and white yarn away, and I will take the black yarn and take the first of my 6 yarns, short yarns, and I will again make forward knots. So I make the first forward knot, the second forward knot, I take the next yarn, one forward knot, the second forward knot, I take the next yarn, I make one forward knot, the second forward knot, the next yarn, one forward knot, the second forward knot, the next yarn, one forward knot, the next forward knot, and the last yarn, one forward knot and the second forward knot, like this. Let's see, now I have created another black line, and now I brought with the forward knots, I brought the yarn from this side, from the left side to the right side, and now I want to bring my yarn back to the left side, my black yarn, so I will make backward knots. So I will make one backward knot, the second backward knot, and so on. So I will continue with backward knots in this direction, and once I have brought my black yarn here, I will take my white and blue yarn and create another set of 2 rows like this. So I'll have these 2 black rows now, and then I will create more blue and white rows. And I will have alternating black and blue and white rows along my bracelet. So let's continue making the backward knots on my yarns with the black yarn until I bring my black yarn from the right back to the left. And then I will continue with my blue and white yarn. And after I finish making those parallel lines with blue and with black, then I will show you how to create the bracelet ties and to finish the bracelet. So let's continue with the backward knots with the black yarn. And now that we have reached the end of our bracelet, I will create the last knot here, a backward knot to close the bracelet. And now I will also close this end of the bracelet. And I will take the yarn over here and I will close the bracelet. By doing 2 forward knots. And now I will make the ties. So I will take those yarns and I will separate the yarns in 2 like this. I will start turning the yarns to the left, so in this direction. Now I will take the other yarns and I will also twist them in the same direction, like the first group of yarns. And now I will twist them one around the other, but in the opposite direction, to the right. And like this, so I have twisted the yarns. Now I will make a knot at the end of those yarns. I will cut like this the end of the tie, and now I will take the other end of my bracelet, and again I will twist the yarns to the left, I will take the other yarns, the other half of the yarns, I will also twist them in the same direction to the left. So separately I will twist both yarns in the same direction. So both these and these yarns are twisted to the left. Of course you can twist them to the right, and then when you twist them around one another you can twist them to the left. But it is important that you twist the separate yarns in one direction, and when you twist them around one another you twist them in the opposite direction. So both these yarns are twisted to the left. And now let's twist them around one another to the right this time. And now I will also make a knot at this end of the tie. I will cut the end of the tie, and now our bracelet is ready. So we can close the bracelet like this by making a knot. This way, and this is what my bracelet looks like. Or if you want to make a sliding knot, we just take one of those ties, we make a knot this way, and we put the other tie through this knot, and we tighten this knot, and now I can open and I can close the bracelet using this sliding knot, like this. So let's repeat the sliding knot. Let's see from a closer distance. So I have this tie here. I turn the tie around my finger. I put the tie through this loop that I have created. I take the other tie, I put it through this loop, and I tighten the knot of my loop this way. And now one of the ties will slide through the knot of the other tie. And this is the bracelet with sliding knot. I'll show you how to create friendship bracelet with a triangle decoration using two colors. I will use blue and this dark blue and this pink colors. I have cut cords with a length of about 90 centimeters, that is about 35 inches. So from here to here the length is about 90 centimeters. And first of all I will establish the length of my tie, and I will make a knot, a simple overhand knot at the place where the bracelet begins. So from this knot in this direction we will have the tie, and from here on I will create the bracelet. Here in the middle I will make a forward knot and a backward knot. The forward knot is done by creating the shape of the number 4 like this. I will put my finger under the blue cord, grab the pink cord with a nail, and I will take the yarn out and create the first knot, the forward knot. And now I will create a backward knot. I will make the 4 but in the mirror like this. Again I will put my finger under the blue cord, grab the pink cord, take it out through the loop and create the backward knot this way. So I have created my first knot here, a forward and a backward knot here in the middle. Now I will make 2 forward knots on this cord here. So 1 forward knot and the second forward knot, and 1 forward knot on the second pink yarn and the second forward knot like this. Now I will take the blue yarn and create backward knots. So I'll make 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, and on the second yarn again I will make 1 backward knot, and the second backward knot. Now I'll take the blue yarn and create a backward knot like this, and a forward knot like this. Now I'll take this yarn and make 1 forward knot, the second forward knot, on the second yarn I'll make 1 forward knot and the second forward knot. Now with the yarn on the left I will make 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, on the second yarn I will make 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, now that I got to this place here, I will take the orange yarn and on the blue yarn I will make 1 forward knot and 1 backward knot like this. I will take this yarn and make 1 forward knot, 2 forward knots, 1 forward knot, 2 forward knots. I will take this yarn and make 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, again 1 backward knot, second backward knot, and on the pink yarn I will make 1 backward knot, and 1 forward knot. Again, I will make 1 forward knot, a second forward knot, 1 forward knot, a second forward knot, and I will take the blue yarn. I will make 1 backward knot, the second backward knot, one backward knot, the second backward knot, and here with the pink yarn I will make 1 forward knot, and 1 backward knot. And I will continue, so I will make 1 forward knot, another forward knot, 1 forward knot, another forward knot, and backward knots with the blue yarn. So 1 backward knot, another backward knot, one backward knot, another backward knot, one backward knot, and a forward knot. And so on. So as you can see, the triangles or the wolf teeth are already visible. And I will continue making these triangles or wolf teeth until I reach the desired length of my bracelet. And then I will show you how to make the tie and how to close the bracelet. And now I have finished making the bracelet, and let's create the tie. I will separate the yarns according to their color, and I will start twisting the yarns to the left. I will begin with the blue yarns. Now I will also twist the orange yarns also to the left. So both this and both the blue yarns as well as the pink yarns have been twisted in the same direction to the left. So I will twist until I feel that there is tension in the yarn. Okay, now I will also take the blue yarn. So as I told you, both of them were twisted towards the left. And now I will twist them one around the other, but in the opposite direction, to the right. And now I will make a knot. Like this. Now let's take the other end of the bracelet. I will open this knot. So I will open this knot here. I will grab with the clamp the end of the bracelet. I will separate the yarns, and again I will do the same thing. I will twist the yarns in one direction, so both yarns in the same direction. You can twist them to the right, you can twist them to the left, but it's important that each of the yarns are twisted in the same direction. So for example, you twist them to the left, and then when you twist them around one another, you twist them to the right. If you choose to twist them to the right, both the pink and the blue yarns, then when you twist them around one another, you will twist them in the opposite direction to the left. So let's twist them to the left, each single yarn, until I feel tension in the yarn. So I have twisted one of the yarns. I will grab the yarn with the clamp. I will also twist the blue yarn. Also to the left, until I feel tension in the yarn. And now I take the two yarns and twist them around one another. And now I will make another knot here. like this. So I will take the scissors and cut the end of the cord. And now the bracelet is ready, and in order to close the bracelet I will twist the cord around my finger. I will create this loop. I will put the cord through this loop like this. Now I will take the other cord, put it through the loop this way, and I will tighten this knot. And now I have made a sliding knot, and by means of this sliding knot I will be able to open and to close my bracelet. This way. So let's see the finished bracelet, what it looks like. So this is what my finished bracelet looks like. As you can see, it has this zigzag pattern, these wolf teeth, these little triangles, and this is what it looks like at the closure. I'll show you how to create a friendship bracelet with hearts, and I will also show you how to create the loop of the bracelet. To make this bracelet I used some cord that is about 70 centimeters long from this point to this point, to which I added about 20 centimeters for the loop on two of my cords. So from this point to this point it is about 28 inches long. And now I have these cords here, and this is where I am going to make the loop. So the loop will begin about at this point, and I will put the yarn here, and I will create the loop using the two longer yarns. So I will take the black yarn, first of all the longer black yarn, and I will start making the loop. In order to make the loop I will create forward and backward knots. So let's create the first forward knot. I will create the shape of the number 4. I will put my finger under the yellow and black cord and grab the black cord with my nail, take the yarn out through this loop, and I will make the first forward knot. Now I will make a backward knot. I will create the number 4 in the mirror. I'll put my nail under the yellow and black cord, and I'll take the other black cord, the long black cord, out through the loop, and I have created a backward knot. Now I will continue by using the yellow yarn, and I will make a forward knot. And I will make a backward knot. Now I will put the yellow yarn back, and I will take the black yarn again, the longer black yarn, and I will make a forward knot and a backward knot. put the black yarn back, I will take the yellow yarn. I'll make a forward knot. And a backward knot. Like this. Now I will take the loop and I will close the loop by means of the black yarn. So I will put the black yarn over the other yarns like this, and I will create a loop this way, and I will put the black yarn through this loop, and I'll tighten this knot. And now I will grab the loop with the clamp, and I will start creating the bracelet, the heart bracelet. So I will put the cords in a specific order. So the cords will be put in the mirror. The two black cords are on the left, two black cords are on the right, and in the middle here I will put the yellow cords. Now, to make this bracelet, I will use the chevron bracelet rules for these two cords, for the inner cords, whereas for the outer cords I will use the technique for making the bracelet borders. So these two black cords will remain as borders, so they will always remain on the outside of my bracelet, whereas with these cords here I will create chevrons. In order to make the border, I will create forward and backward knots on the cord on the left, whereas on the cord on the right I will create backward and forward knots. So in order to make the forward knot, I will create the shape of the number 4. I'll put my finger under this black cord. With my nail I will grab the other black cord, and I will create the first knot, the forward knot. And now I will create the backward knot to bring my cord back. So as you can see, my cord has moved from here to here, so it went forward with the forward knot. And now I will bring the cord back to its initial position on the outside by making a backward knot. I'll make the backward knot by creating the shape of the number 4, but in the mirror. I will put my finger under this cord, grab with my nail the other cord, and take the cord out through this loop and create the backward knot. And this way my cord came back to its original position. So let's repeat. The cord was here, I made a forward knot, it moved here, and I made a backward knot and it moved back on the outside of my bracelet. So now I'm going to leave this cord here. I'm going to take the right outside border cord, this cord, and I'm going to make the backward knot first, so the 4 in the mirror. I'm going to put my finger under this cord, I grab the other cord and take it out through this loop like this, and I have created a backward knot. And by making the backward knot, my cord moved from here, it moved here, so it went backward in this direction, backward to the left. And now to bring the cord back here, I will make a forward knot, so the shape of the number 4, like this, and I put my finger under this cord, I grab the other cord and take it out through this loop, like this. So I made the forward knot and I brought the cord from here back to its original position on the outside. So these cords, these two cords, will always remain on the outside for the border. And now I have these cords. I will make knots with these cords according to the rules for the chevron bracelets. So I will make forward knots on these two cords on the left and backward knots on the two cords on the right. And let's begin. I make one forward knot, so the shape of the number 4. I put my finger under the yellow cord, grab the black cord, take the black cord out through this loop, and I create the first forward knot. This is a half knot, and I make another forward half knot like this, and I create a full forward knot. And what happens now? My cord, which was here, will move here. And now with the other cord I will make a backward knot, so the shape of the number 4 but in the mirror. I put my finger under the yellow cord, I grab the black cord, take it out through this loop, I make one backward knot and another backward knot. And I also brought the second black cord into the middle here. And like in the case of the chevron bracelet, here in the middle, I also have to make a full knot made up of two half knots. And what kind of a knot can I make here? I can make any kind of knot. I can make two forward knots, two backward knots. I can make a forward and a backward knot, or I can make a backward and a forward knot. So for the knot at the center of a chevron bracelet, you can choose whatever kind of a knot you want, only that it has to be a full knot, so two half knots. I made two forward knots and I have created the first chevron, the black chevron. And now let's create the heart. Let's begin making the heart. First of all, I will make the border, so I make the forward knot and the backward knot with my border cords, black cords, so I put the border cord on the side where it will stay all along the bracelet. Now on the other cord I will make a backward knot and a forward knot, and I put the border cord on the right side back as well. And now with the yellow cord we start making the hearts. I make a forward knot, 1 and 2, and with the other cord I make backward knots, 1 and 2, like this. And I have brought the yellow cords into the middle, and I will make two forward knots, 1 and 2. And now I have created the first heart here. And let's continue. I will make the border, a forward knot and a backward knot. I put the border away, I make the other border, so a backward knot and a forward knot, and I put the other border away. And now let's make the black chevron, 1 forward knot, the second forward knot. I brought the black cord in the middle, and now 1 backward knot and the second backward knot, and I brought the second black cord in the middle, and here I will make one forward knot and the second forward knot. So our first heart has appeared on the bracelet. So I will continue, and I will make a series of little hearts which are surrounded by the black borders and followed by a black chevron, and these little hearts will continue along my bracelet. So I will continue following the same steps. The two black cords on the margins will remain on the margins for the creation of the borders, whereas these two cords will be used to create chevrons. And after I make the bracelet, I will show you how to create the tie. And now I have finished the bracelet, and I will create the bracelet tie. In order to make the bracelet tie, I will separate the cords this way, and I will start to braid those cords. So I will bring the cord from the outside here on the inside, on the opposite side. I will take the other cord, put it on the inside and cross it with the previous cord. Again, I will take the yellow cord and put it on the inside like this. And I will also take the other yellow cord, put it on the inside and cross it this way. Let's see from a closer distance. So in order to make the tie, I will simply take the cord from this side, put it on the opposite side on the inside like this, and then I will take the other cord and put it on the inside and cross it with the previous cord. So I will take the cord, put it over the cords, put it on the inside parallel with those cords, and I will take this cord and put it on the inside like this. Now I will take the yellow cord from the left side, put it on the right side on the inside, this way, and I will take the right yellow cord and put it on the left side on the inside like this. This way. So I'll continue braiding the cords using this technique, this braiding technique called the fishtail braiding technique. And now I will create a knot, an overhand knot. So I have created this overhand knot. I will take the scissors and cut the cord this way. And now I have the bracelet. I have removed the bracelet. Let's see how I close the bracelet. So I'll put the cord through the loop like this, and I make a knot. So this is the bracelet with the hearts, and this is what the bracelet with hearts looks like. I will show you how to create a braided bracelet using some cord. So I will braid 7 cords using a piece of cardboard, and to create the cardboard which will help me braid, I will use some scissors and a marker. So let's begin preparing the cardboard. So as you can see, my cardboard has a hole in the middle, and I will create the points where I will cut the cardboard, like this, and I will start numbering those points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I will take the scissors and cut each of these points. So as you can see, I have cut each of those points. And now I will begin by creating the loop of my bracelet. I will find the middle of the bracelet, and now that I have found the middle of the bracelet, I will mark the point where my loop will begin, here. And I will grab the cords and I will start creating the loop. So I will make a forward knot and then a backward knot. Then again a forward knot and a backward knot, until I will cover the whole surface of my loop. So let's begin with a forward knot, a backward knot, a forward knot, a backward knot, a forward knot, and so on. And now I will remove the clamp and create the loop. So I will take the cords, put the loop like this, and I will take the bit of cord that I had here, and I will create a knot. So I will, let's see from a closer distance, I will take my cord like this, put it over the other cords and make a knot like this. And I will take the cord out through the knot like this. And I have created a knot at the basis of my loop. And now I will take, let's see from a distance, I will take the cardboard wheel. I'll put the loop through this cardboard wheel and I will start ordering my cords. So I will take each cord and put it into the cardboard wheel. Like this. So I have put the cords into this cardboard wheel. And as you can see, I have put the cords from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whereas number 8 is free. And now I will count 1, 2, and I will take the cord number 3 and put it into the point number 8 on my wheel. And this is how I will start braiding my bracelet with 7 cords. Again, I will go to the left and I will count 1, 2, and the third will be taken from its place and put into the point that is towards me. Again, I will turn the wheel around and now number 6 is towards me. So I will count to the left 1, 2 points and the third cord will be put here into the cord with the number 6. And now again, I will put number 1 towards me and I will count 2, 3 and number 4 will be taken from here and put into the number 1 point here. So let's make one more or 2 more knots like this. And now the bracelet is ready. And I will remove the cords like this. I'll put the cardboard away, and in order to close this bracelet I will make a knot with one of these cords. So I will, let's see from a closer distance, I will put the black cord over the other cords like this to create a loop, And then I will put the cord through the loop and I will tighten this knot this way. Like this. And now I will grab the bracelet with the clamp and I will create the closure of the bracelet. So I will grab these cords and start braiding. And now that I have braided the cord, I will make a knot at the end of my cord. Like this. I will take the scissors and cut. And now I will also make a knot at this end of my braiding. Also cut this cord. And now let's remove the clamp and see the finished bracelet. So this is the finished bracelet, and in order to close the bracelet I will just put one of those cords through the loop here, like this, and I will make a knot. Like this. And this is the finished bracelet. So this is what the bracelet looks like on the wrist. And this is what the bracelet looks like when it is closed with the cords. So this is how you create a bracelet using 7 cords in different colors. I will show you how to create a friendship bracelet called the Peruvian Wave Friendship Bracelet, the single Peruvian Wave Friendship Bracelet. I will use these yarns. So I will use red, I will use green, yellow, black, and I will use this black yarn as the middle yarn on the middle cord on which I will create the knots. So the length of the yarns is about 50 centimeters, and I will create first of all a knot which will indicate the length of my tie and the place where the bracelet should begin. Now I will grab the yarns with the clamp and I will separate the yarn on which I will be making the knots from the yarns with which I will make the knots. So basically I will create forward knots when my yarns are on the left side and backward knots when my yarns are on the right side. So my yarns will move from the left to the right and then back to the left. And all the knots will be created on this main yarn here. So let's begin. So it's important when you make these knots not to pull too tightly on the yarns, but to let them a bit loose. So in order to create a forward knot, I will create the shape of the number 4. And now I will put my finger under the main yarn and take the other yarn out through this loop like this. And I will create one knot, and then I will make another forward knot and I will create the second knot. So as you can see, my yarn has moved from the left forward, because I made a forward knot, to the right here. Now let's take the second yarn, and again I will make a forward knot like this. So one forward knot, the second forward knot, and I also moved the second yarn to the right. Now I will take the third yarn, the yellow yarn, and I'll make one forward knot and the second forward knot. And the last yarn, the green yarn, one forward knot and a second forward knot, like this. And now, as I have told you, I will create the backward knots. In order to make the backward knots, I will take the yarn and create the number 4, but in the mirror. I will put my finger under the black yarn, take the green yarn out through the loop, and I will create 1. So you should never pull too much on the yarn like this. So you should let this yarn a bit loose, and then the second backward knot. And I moved the green yarn back to its original position on the left side. Again, I will take the next yarn and create a backward knot, so the inverted number 4 like this, and another backward knot this way. I will take the third yarn and make one backward knot. So never pull too tightly on this yarn here, so that it has enough space to come from this point and to get to this point. And the second backward knot. And I have also moved the red yarn on the other side. And with the black yarn I will also make 1 and 2 knots. This way. So as you can see, the bracelet already starts to take shape. And now let's create again forward knots to move the yarns from the left side to the right side. So when I make forward knots, my yarn moves forward, so from the left to the right. When I make backward knots, my yarns move backwards, so from the right to the left. So now we make forward knots again, so the shape of the number 4 like this. So I make 1 and the second knot, and I move the yarn to the right. Let's make a forward knot with the red yarn, so 1. So do not pull too tightly on this yarn so that it can move from this knot to this knot. The second forward knot like this, and with the yellow yarn I will make 1 and 2, and with the green yarn 1 and 2, like this. So as you can see, the wave has started to look like a wave, and I will continue making these knots, forward and backward knots, until I obtain the desired length of my bracelet, and then I will show you how to create the bracelet tie so that I can close the bracelet and put it around my wrist. So let's continue making backward knots. Now, in order to move the yarns from the right to the left, back to the left. Now that the bracelet is finished, let's remove the clamp, and I will open the knot here, like this, and I will start making the bracelet tie. I will grab the clamp like this, and I will start twisting the yarns to the left like this, now I will also twist the black yarns to the left, and now I will twist the two yarns, the colored and the black yarns, around one another but in the opposite direction to the right, and the yarns will twist around one another. And now I will make a knot, and I will take the other end of the bracelet, also grab the bracelet with the clamp, and I will do the same thing. I will twist the black yarns to the left, then I will twist the colored yarns also to the left, And now I will twist the two yarns around one another to the right. I will again make a knot at the end of the bracelet. Like this. And the bracelet is ready. And I can make a simple overhand knot like this to close the bracelet, or I can make a knot like this on one of the ties, and through this loop I will put the other tie, which will move up and down on this loop this way, opening and closing the bracelet. And this is the finished single Peruvian wave bracelet. And this is what the finished bracelet looks like.